Did you know there was someone who was very powerful, from founding a party to being able to control the entire region of China? Here are some facts. Mao Zedong, the founding father of the People's Republic of China, is known for holding a particularly dismal record. Mao Zedong's tenure as chairman of the Chinese Communist Party had the most incidents of deaths in human history. Through executions, exile, and forced labor, it is estimated that up to 70 million people died. Mao Zedong is also known for developing a cult of personality, where his image was worshipped, books of his quotes were mass-produced, and he was referred to as the great leader Chairman Mao. Even Mao Zedong was responsible for some very strange policies and some very surprising behavior in his personal life. Below are some facts about Mao Zedong, the founding father of the People's Republic of China, which are rarely known by many people. Come on, take a look at the review below. 1. Mao Zedong started a sexual relationship with a 14-year-old girl. In 1962, Mao Zedong began a sexual relationship with a 14-year-old girl. He was a member of a Chinese Air Force cultural troupe that performed to entertain Mao Zedong and other high-ranking officials. The relationship between the girl and Mao Zedong lasted 5 years. In 1971, the girl told her parents about the relationship, which led her father to write an angry letter to Mao Zedong. The letter was returned by a postal worker who warned that it could lead to the death penalty for the father. Following the postal worker's warning, the father decided to swallow his anger. 2. Mao Zedong had a meeting in a swimming pool with the Prime Minister of the Soviet Union. When Soviet Premier Khrushchev paid a state visit to China in 1958, Mao Zedong held a meeting in his swimming pool because he knew Khrushchev could not swim. Mao Zedong did it because he felt that the Soviet Union did not respect him when he visited Moscow in 1949. Not only that, Mao Zedong took revenge in several ways. Mao Zedong gave Khrushchev lodgings in an old hotel without air conditioning, and smoked during their meetings because he knew Khrushchev hated him. In his speech before a group of artists and writers, Khrushchev was more candid about the incident. Between us, I basically failed at swimming. I'm not good at that. But he swam, showing off, while expounding his political views. It was Mao Zedong's way of putting himself in an advantageous position. 3. Mango was a symbol of support for Mao Zedong. In 1968, Pakistan's foreign minister gave Mao Zedong some mangoes. At that time, only a few people in China had ever seen a mango. Mao Zedong used the fruit as a propaganda tool, sending it as gifts to institutions such as universities and factories. The gift became a symbol of Mao Zedong's support for workers. One of the mangoes was given to a textile factory and displayed on a newly built altar. Once the skin starts to rot, the mango is boiled in water and a spoonful of mango water is given to each worker in the factory. The government even produced mango replicas, which became a popular attraction. Because it is a symbol of support for Mao Zedong, mangoes cannot be taken lightly. When a dentist in a small village compared mangoes to sweet potatoes, he was executed for malicious slander. 4. Mao Zedong exported Chinese women to the United States. In 1973, Mao Zedong intended to export Chinese women to the United States. Mao Zedong made the offer at a meeting with United States National Security Advisor Henry Kissinger. The offer drew laughter from officials at the meeting, and Kissinger joked that the United States had no quotas or tariffs on imported Chinese women. Initially, Mao Zedong offered to send thousands of women, but later raised the offer to 10 million. Mao Zedong believed sending the women would lead to bilateral trade between the two countries and ease China's overpopulation problem. He said that China is a very poor country, and the only people who have too much are women. 5. Mao Zedong introduced the failed Four Pests campaign. In 1958, Mao Zedong introduced the Four Pests campaign, in which he ordered the extermination of rats, flies, mosquitoes and sparrows. Sparrows were targeted in the campaign because they eat seeds and fruit. So, by killing sparrows, it is hoped that agricultural yields will increase, but the plan ignores the fact that sparrows also eat insects, causing an explosion in the grasshopper population contributed to the Great Famine in China because it made rice yields low. According to some reports, as many as 45 million people died of starvation. 6. The three-story painting of Mao Zedong in Tiananmen Square is repainted every year. A painting of Mao Zedong was first displayed in Tiananmen Square in 1949, when the People's Republic of China was founded. Due to exposure to sunlight and temperature changes, the paintings fade and crack if not repaired. There are two identical paintings that are exchanged once a year. So, when one is removed for repainting, the other can be a replacement for display. Initially, the repainting was done in a temporary tent. Since the 1970s, repainting has been done in permanent art studios without windows and made of metal to prevent fires. The reason for the repainting of Mao Zedong's painting is top secret. According to art historian Wu Heng, Mao Zedong's painting is not just a painting. It represents Mao Zedong himself, and no one is allowed to ask who made the painting. 7. Some women are proud of being infected with sexually transmitted diseases from Mao Zedong. In 1996, Mao Zedong's former personal physician published a biography entitled The Private Life of Chairman Mao. In the book, Dr. Li Jisui wrote that Mao Zedong infected several women with trichomoniasis, a sexually transmitted disease caused by the parasite Trichomonas vaginalis. But some of the women infected by Mao Zedong made this sexually transmitted disease a badge of honor, testimony to their close ties to the chairman. 8. Moving toward communist ideology, in 1918, Mao Zedong graduated from Hunan First Normal School, becoming a certified teacher. That same year, his mother died, and he had no desire to return home. He traveled to Beijing, but was unsuccessful in finding work. He eventually found a position as an assistant librarian at Beijing University and took several classes. Around this time, he heard about the successful Russian Revolution, which established the Communist Soviet Union. In 1921, he became one of the inaugural members of the Chinese Communist Party. In 1923, Chinese leader Sun Yat-sen began a policy of active cooperation with the Chinese Communists, who had grown in strength and numbers. 9. Japan-China conflict. In July 1937, the Imperial Japanese Army invaded China, forcing Chiang Kai-shek to abandon the capital in Nanking. Chiang's forces soon lost control of the coastal areas and most of the major cities. Unable to fight on two fronts, Chiang reached out to the communists for a ceasefire and support. During this time, Mao established himself as a military leader and, with help from Allied forces, helped fight Japan. With Japan's defeat in 1945, Mao Zedong was able to set his sights on controlling all of China. Various attempts were made by the United States in particular to form a coalition government. But China slipped into a bloody civil war. On October 1, 1949, in Tiananmen Square, Beijing, Mao announced the founding of the People's Republic of China. Chiang Kai-shek and his followers fled to the island of Taiwan, where they formed the Republic of China. 10. Inheritance and death. In 1972, to further solidify his place in Chinese history, Mao Zedong met with United States President Richard Nixon, a gesture that eased tensions between the two countries and elevated China's prominence as a world player. During the meeting, it became clear that Mao's health was deteriorating, and not much was accomplished because Mao was not always clear in his statements or intentions. Mao Zedong died of complications from Parkinson's disease on September 9, 1976, at the age of 82, in Beijing, China. He left a controversial legacy in China and the West as a genocidal monster and political genius. Officially, in China, he is highly respected as a great political strategist and military mastermind. The savior of the nation. However, Mao's efforts to close China to trade and market commerce and erase traditional Chinese culture have been largely rejected by his successors, while his emphasis on China's self-reliance and the rapid industrialization it promoted is credited with laying the foundation for China's late 20th century development. His harsh methods and dislike of anyone who did not give him complete confidence and loyalty have been widely rebuked as self-defeating. These are some facts about Mao Zedong, the philosopher and founder of the People's Republic of China, who had a strange and cruel personal life. Mao Zedong even infected several women with sexually transmitted diseases.